is nothing professional about my videos. I just sit here talking, perhaps smoking a joint. But the world at this moment in time has never ever been in the chaos that exists today. None of us know whether our governments are telling them the truth. But what can we do about it? There's so much convincing evidence being passed around about 9/11 and the fact really that it looks as though from that evidence that the Twin Towers were a demolition job. Well, if they were, perhaps, this evidence should go before the Senate and the Congress or whatever it is over there, and let's see what happens in a proper court case, if you like. Perhaps the evidence should be heard at The Hague with Mr. Bush being in the dock, because it seems as though foreign policy over the last 200 years of American history seems, according to some evidence, to be riddled with deception. And perhaps those that are living should be with Mr. Bush in the dock as well. Sadly for me as a Britain, there appear to be crimes that our own government must own up to as well. Why is it such a sick world? Can you tell me? Can anybody tell me? That's what I want to know, you see. Because these people that are in power at the moment in the United States and in the UK, and I suppose to a certain degree all of those that are backing the USA in these nasty, horrible wars. I mean, why did our own Prime Minister, Mr. Blair, allow the United States to transport weapons through British airports? weapons which were to be aimed at the Lebanon and Palestine. And now we give them millions and millions of pounds to rebuild the buildings that these weapons that we, as a nation, as a government, really, I wouldn't say the nation, because like America, most people in the United Kingdom can't be bothered to vote because they think they haven't got a voice at all, because those that are running the country do not have the same views as the people that vote. And if they proclaim, if these parties proclaim the same views as these people that don't vote, those people that do not vote, I should say, don't believe that prospective or hopeful governments from whichever party they belong to are telling them the truth. Now, the liberal dizzyprats say all sorts of things that voters would like to believe. The conservatives are leaning towards environmental issues, but having tried to contact David Cameron on MySpace, he hasn't been here for months, if it was him that was here in the first place. And then comes Labour. Now Labour is still waiting to give birth to a utopian Britain. So they remain for always in Labour because they refuse to acknowledge my complaint to them. After all, I have been trying to establish a business selling hemp clothes, hemp food and hemp body care products on the high street. Well, the government in no way want to help me do that, even though I'm unemployed. And because of my desire to establish a hemp shop, that surpasses all else. And although 9/11 appears to have been a demolition job, and has resulted probably in humanity having to endure a third world war, the hemp war has been going on now for almost 80 years, since cannabis was first made illegal in 1928. So there you go. The longest war probably in history is the war on cannabis hemp, and it's a crime against humanity, because as I've said before, humanity needs hemp because hemp is a resource that humanity needs for this millennium.